This happened in the fall of 2018. I was staying with my cousin Tyler on the edge of the Navajo Nation in New Mexico. He lived in this small, beat-up house his grandpa left him. It was surrounded by dry hills, scattered juniper trees, and miles of nothing but red dirt and open sky. I'd just gone through a rough breakup, and Tyler had invited me to stay with him for a while to get my head straight. Tyler worked nights at a gas station about 20 minutes away, so during the evenings, I usually had the place to myself. He warned me about wandering too far off into the hills, though. Said people around here don't mess with what lives out there after dark. I laughed it off. I didn't really believe in that kind of stuff. One night, around 11:30, the power went out while I was in the middle of watching something on his old TV. At first, I thought nothing of it. Storms happened now and then out there, and the lines weren't great. But then I heard something outside. It was this knocking. Not loud, more like tapping, like someone gently tapping the outside of the front window. Tap, tap, tap. I froze for a second. The window didn't have curtains, just a thin, torn sheet Tyler had thumbtacked up. I couldn't see through it, but the tapping was definitely coming from there. Then it stopped. I waited for a minute or two, heart pounding, telling myself it was probably a branch or something in the wind. That's when I heard footsteps, walking along the gravel out front. Slow, dragging steps. Crunch, crunch, crunch. They circled the house once, then again. I stayed still, trying not to breathe too loud. Then I remembered Tyler kept a shotgun behind the couch. I reached for it slowly and kept it close. After about 5 minutes, the steps stopped. Silence. I waited longer. Still nothing. I figured whoever it was must have left. I got up quietly, moved to the door, and pressed my ear against it. That's when I heard it. From the other side of the door, not more than a foot away, I heard someone whisper my name. Michael. It wasn't Tyler. It wasn't anyone I knew. It sounded wrong. The way it said my name was slow, like it was trying to copy a voice it had only heard once. Almost like a child repeating a word it didn't understand. I didn't say anything. I just backed away from the door slowly, shotgun aimed. My hands were shaking. Then it knocked again. 3 hard knocks right on the wood. Bang, bang, bang. I shouted, "Who's there?" No answer. Then I heard it again, but this time from the back door. A knock, then a whisper. Michael. I swear, my blood turned to ice. The only light in the house was the soft glow of the moon coming in through the windows. I crept to the back room, trying not to make a sound. The shotgun felt useless in my hands. I was sweating, heart pounding so hard I thought it would give me away. I peeked out the back window. At first, I didn't see anything. But as my eyes adjusted, I noticed something standing out near the old shed. It was tall, real skinny, and looked like it had the head of a deer, but wrong somehow. Too big. And the antlers were crooked, like they'd been broken and healed wrong. It was just standing there, facing the house. Then it moved. It didn't walk. It glided. That's the only way I can explain it. 1 second, it was by the shed, and the next, it was halfway across the yard, still facing me. I dropped to the floor, not even daring to look again. The rest of the night, I stayed on the floor of the hallway with my back to the wall and the shotgun in my lap. I didn't sleep. I just waited. By sunrise, everything was still and quiet. I didn't see or hear anything strange. When Tyler came home, I told him everything. I expected him to laugh or say I was crazy, but he didn't. He sat down, got real quiet, and said, "You're lucky it didn't come inside." You must have stayed real still. They don't like movement." I asked him what he meant by they. He looked me dead in the eyes and said Skinwalkers. I'd heard the term before, but never paid much attention to it. Tyler told me stories his grandpa used to tell him about people who used dark rituals to take the shape of animals. He said they can mimic voices, even faces. That once they set their sights on someone, it's not easy to shake them. I wanted to leave that day, but Tyler begged me to stay one more night. Said he needed to take me to someone before I left. An elder woman who lived a few miles away. She was known to be able to cleanse things. So that evening, just before sunset, we drove out to her place. She was this tiny old woman who looked like she hadn't smiled in decades. She said very little, just asked me to describe what I saw and heard. When I told her, she gave me a small pouch of herbs and told me to keep it on me at all times. Told me not to speak to anything that called my name unless I was sure who it was. And most importantly, to never, ever whistle at night. She burned some stuff in a bowl, said a few words in a language I didn't understand, and sent us on our way. That night, I still couldn't sleep. And just before dawn, right before the first light touched the hills, I heard it again. Faint, but clear. From far off in the desert, I heard my name. Michael. But I didn't move. I didn't answer. And eventually, it stopped. I left that morning and haven't been back since. I keep the pouch of herbs in my truck's glove box, just in case. And I never, ever go outside after dark when I'm in the desert. I used to think stuff like this was just stories people told to scare kids. But after that night, I believe. I really do. I'm 19 now, living in a dorm room in the middle of a loud city. But when I was around 12, I spent a summer with my uncle in rural New Mexico. He owns this small ranch, tucked between dry hills and patches of forest. It's a quiet place, the kind of quiet that feels heavy, where you can hear your own blood rushing in your ears if you sit still long enough. That summer was supposed to be peaceful. I was just going to help out with the chickens, maybe ride the old quad bike around the property, and enjoy the break from school. It was a few weeks in when I started noticing weird things. At first, it was small stuff, like the animals getting nervous at night, especially the horses. They'd stomp and snort for no reason. Then there were the strange calls coming from the trees near the edge of the property. Not coyotes. I've heard coyotes. These sounded wrong. They were too slow, like someone was trying to mimic a coyote, but didn't fully know how. Or maybe they were hurt. That's what I thought at first. One night, just before bed, I was outside feeding scraps to the dogs. My uncle had 3 of them, big shepherd mixes that normally bark at everything. But this night, they all froze. One of them whimpered and backed into the kennel. The others stared out toward the trees. Not barking, not moving, just staring. And that's when I heard it. It was my voice, calling my name. At first, I thought it was a weird echo. But then I realized it wasn't an echo. It was a perfect copy of me. The same tone, same pitch, like someone had recorded me and played it back, but slower. From the trees, I froze. I couldn't even blink. Then it called out again. "Hey, come here. I found something." Exactly how I had said that earlier in the day when I was showing my uncle an old arrowhead I found in the dirt. I dropped the bucket and ran inside, my heart punching my ribs from the inside. My uncle was sitting in his recliner, drinking a beer like nothing was wrong. I told him what I heard, and he just stared at me for a second, then stood up, went to the door, and locked it. He didn't ask me to repeat it, didn't question me, just locked the door and turned off the porch light. Then he said something that's never left me. If you hear your own voice calling to you out here, you never answer. That night, I barely slept. The dogs were restless. Something brushed against the window near my bed just after midnight. I stayed under the covers like a little kid, shaking, pretending I didn't hear it. The next day, my uncle made me stay close. No going into the trees, no walking the fence line. He didn't say why, but I could see the tension in his shoulders. He had his rifle propped by the back door like he was waiting for something. It all came to a head 3 nights later. We lost power around 9 p.m. My uncle cursed and lit some lanterns, said it was probably just the wind knocking something loose again. I offered to go check the shed where the fuse box was. He hesitated, but then said fine, just take the flashlight and don't be stupid. The shed was maybe 100 feet away. I've walked that path a dozen times, even in the dark. I wasn't scared anymore. I thought maybe I imagined that voice. Maybe I was just tired. The night was quiet, dead quiet. No bugs, no owls, no wind. Halfway to the shed, I heard it again. Come here, I found something. It was me again, the exact same voice, coming from behind the shed, only this time it didn't stop there. Another voice joined in. My mom's. She wasn't even in the state. But it was her. Clear as anything. Baby, where are you? That was enough for me to freeze. I felt my legs lock. My hands started shaking so bad I dropped the flashlight. It hit the dirt and rolled. I scrambled to pick it up and turned to run back, but something was already in front of me. It wasn't a person. It was trying to look like one. It was tall, way too tall. Its arms were long and its legs didn't bend right. The face, God, the face. It looked like someone had stretched skin over a skull that wasn't human. The eyes were too far apart, the mouth too wide, and it was smiling. I couldn't move. It just stood there, half in shadow, half in the pale moonlight. And then it spoke again. My voice. But the mouth didn't match the words. You left me behind. I turned and ran. I ran so hard my lungs burned, I tripped on something. Maybe a root, maybe nothing, and went face first into the dirt. Got up, didn't even brush myself off, just kept going. I hit the porch, screaming. My uncle came flying out the door with his rifle barefoot. He didn't even ask what was wrong. He fired one shot into the dark and dragged me inside. We sat in silence for over an hour. Eventually, he told me the truth. There's things out there that aren't animals. They aren't people either. They wear skins, mimic voices, try to lure you out. If you follow them, you're gone. He didn't say dead. He said gone, like something worse. That was my last week on the ranch. My parents came early to pick me up. I never told them what happened. My uncle never brought it up again. But I remember him walking us to the truck, hand resting on the butt of his rifle the whole time. Since then, I don't go near forests alone. I don't answer strange voices. And sometimes, late at night, when everything's quiet, I swear I hear myself whispering from somewhere I shouldn't be. It was the last weekend of summer, and my parents decided we'd take a camping trip before school started. Just me, my mom, Dad, and my younger sister, Anna. I'm 17 now, but this happened when I was 12. I've never told anyone outside my family, and honestly, I'm still not sure what it was. A person? An animal? Something else entirely? We went to a remote national park, the kind with no cell service and barely any other campers. My dad thought it would be a good reset, whatever that meant. We parked the car, hiked about 2 miles into the forest, and set up near a small creek. It was peaceful, too peaceful. The first night was normal. We made a fire, roasted marshmallows, and told dumb stories. Around 10 p.m., Anna and I climbed into the small tent we shared while our parents stayed up a little longer. I fell asleep to the sound of crickets and the soft rustle of wind in the trees. But sometime in the middle of the night I woke up. No sound, just total silence. Not even the bugs. I thought maybe it was raining, but when I peeked outside the tent, the sky was clear. Then I heard footsteps, slow, crunching the dry leaves. At first, I thought it was my dad, but the steps weren't coming from their tent. They were coming from the trees, circling, not fast, just 1, 2, pause, then again. I held my breath, trying to hear better. Anna was asleep next to me, breathing steady. I thought about waking her, but I didn't want to scare her if it was nothing. Then something, or someone, brushed against the tent. Not hard, just a light drag, like a hand or maybe fur. My heart was in my throat. I whispered my sister's name, but she didn't move. Suddenly, a voice came from right outside the tent. It was low and scratchy, like someone imitating a voice rather than using their own. It said, "Come out." Just that. 2 words. I froze. My eyes watered, and my legs felt numb. I didn't answer. I didn't move. I just listened. Nothing after that. No more sounds. The voice didn't repeat itself. The footsteps were gone. I stayed awake until morning. I didn't tell my parents because, honestly, I thought maybe I'd imagined it. But the next night proved I hadn't. We had just finished dinner when Anna said she saw someone watching us from the trees. My dad checked, but of course, no one was there. He said it was probably a deer or a shadow. But Anna swore the figure was tall and standing on 2 legs. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in the tent, clutching my flashlight, waiting. Around 1 a.m., I heard it again. The footsteps. Only this time, they were louder, faster, like someone circling the tent in the quick bursts. I sat up. Anna was awake too, and she looked terrified. Then the voice came again, this time from the side where Anna slept. It mimicked my mom's voice. "Sweetie, open up." But it wasn't her. It was off, like a recording played through broken speakers. Anna whispered, "That's not Mom." I nodded, barely breathing. Then we both screamed. We didn't plan it. It just happened. The footsteps ran off instantly, crashing through the brush. My dad stormed out with a flashlight and a camping axe, searching the area. My mom stayed with us, trying to calm us down. We told them everything. My dad didn't say much, but I saw the color drain from his face. We packed up the next morning, didn't even eat breakfast, just shoved everything into our bags and left. But the scariest part wasn't what we heard or saw. It was when we checked the perimeter of our camp before leaving. There were footprints, not boot prints, barefoot, but huge, way bigger than my dad's. And scattered around them were clumps of animal fur, like something half human, half something else had been watching us. The park ranger we reported it to just gave us a weird look and said, "Best not to camp too far out next time." I don't know what that thing was. A skinwalker? Some messed up person living in the woods? I'll never know for sure. But ever since then, I haven't gone camping again. And I don't think I ever will. Stay tuned for more, and thanks for watching.